How you doing? Rev here. Before I ever take a through hike, I always try to do as much research as I can about the particular trail that I'm going to hike. I'll go on the internet, search the internet concerning that particular trail, look at YouTube videos, go on Facebook pages, and just do as much research as I can on the particular trail that I'm going to be through hiking. Now, just recently, I did a through hike of the Pinhoti Trail that goes through Alabama and through Georgia, almost to the border of Tennessee. 351.1 miles was the length of the trail. And though I did a lot of research on the trail before I even attempted it, there was a lot of things that came up, and I'm not going to call them pros or cons, but basically there were opportunities that presented themselves that I had to adapt myself to. Boy, that sounds fancy, doesn't it? In this video, I'm going to give you my thoughts on through hiking the Pinhoti Trail, just in case you are considering on doing this trail or not. So stay tuned. By the way, be sure and stay tuned to the very end, because I will give you whether or not I recommend that you hike the Pinhoti Trail. Now, first off, the word Pinhoti is a Native American word that means turkey home. And so I thought I was going to be able to run into a lot of turkeys and see a lot of turkeys on the trail, but I only saw one turkey, and he was flying from one tree to the next. I did see a lot of wildlife on the Pinhoti Trail and a lot of snakes. Compared to the Pacific Crest Trail, I saw more snakes on the Pinhoti Trail than I did on the PCT. I did see a bear on the PCT, which I didn't on the Pinhoti Trail. But other than that, I saw a lot of wildlife on the Pinhoti Trail. Now, I'm not comparing the PCT with the Pinhoti Trail because both trails have unique opportunities and they're unique to themselves. But one of the biggest difference in the Pinhoti Trail and the PCT is on the Pinhoti Trail, if you want to understand, on most of the AT, it's known as the Green Tunnel. In fact, I'm just going through a green tunnel right now. I meant to tell you that I did do the Pinhoti Trail during the spring, second week of April through the second week in May. If you do it any other time of the year, your situation may be totally different than mine. When I did the PCT, every trail town that I went into, which was probably about every 5 days, maybe a little less, I would have to buy a brand new tube of sunscreen because I used it all during that particular section. But when I did the Pinhoti Trail, I bought a tube of sunscreen at the very first, and I used it one time. And that was it. The Pinhoti Trail has a lot of foliage. You go into a green tunnel, basically. But boy, when you get to the top of those climbs and get to look out at the vastness of the horizon there, it is just absolutely beautiful. Now, another unique situation, opportunity, whatever you want to call it, that I experienced on the Pinhoti Trail was not being able to get a hitch when I went hitchhiking. On 3 different occasions, I tried to hitchhike into town to do a resupply, and absolutely nobody picked me up. In fact, one time I was standing out by the road for over an hour and couldn't get anybody to even slow down. And so I just started walking into town, and a police sheriff stopped me, and I asked what I was doing. Said he had a report. Somebody had called in and said that either a trafficker, a child trafficker, or a drug dealer was walking down the freeway. And I asked him to go check it out. And he looked at me and he says, "I can tell you're neither." That was a hilarious situation. But anyway, he gave me a ride into town, so that was good. Another unique situation that you'll face on the Pinhoti Trail is the tread of the trail. On the PCT, it's mainly rock and sand and dirt. But on the Pinhoti, I barely saw the trail. Sometimes it was just covered over with pine needles and leaves and things like that. Now, if you're going downhill and on a rock that's covered with sand, you can slip real easily and bust your bootay. But if you're also going downhill and you step on a rock that's covered with leaves and you don't even know the rock's there, leaves or pine needles, you can also slip and fall as well. So you got to be careful when you're hiking on the Pinhoti Trail because of the tread. Also, I don't know what it is, but snakes blend in with the leaves and the pine needles, so you have to really be on watch for snakes as you're walking down the road. I found there to be a lot of stream crossings on the Pinhoti Trail. Now, the stream crossings weren't as intense or life-threatening, but I did find a lot of stream crossings on the Pinhoti Trail. And the thing about it is, on the bottom, there was a lot of slippery, moss-covered rocks, and if you're not careful, you slip and fall. I did mention the difficulty with hitchhiking into town when you're doing a resupply, but the trail angel community on the Pinhoti Trail is just phenomenal. If you need to get around town or get a ride to town, there's always somebody that you can get a hold of, and they'll come out and get you, and some charge you and ask for a donation or whatever, but they are just the kindest people. The trail angels are, and are really helpful to the hiking community. Majority of these trail angels are hikers themselves, and so they're very much aware of how difficult it is to get around when you're hiking from place to place. One great opportunity that I had when I thru-hiked the Pinhoti Trail was the availability of trail towns. It seemed like that there was a trail town very close to the trail, and there was a lot of trail towns scattered throughout the Pinhoti Trail. Longest food carry that I had when I thru-hiked the Pinhoti Trail was 3 days, because I could go into a trail town and get a resupply and then get back on trail real quickly and then go out again. If you live in a part of the country like I do, where Dollar Generals are few and far between, if not non-existent, then you won't run into that on the Pinhoti Trail. In fact, I saw a meme. It was so funny. There was a sign in front of a Dollar General store that said, "Next Dollar General, 2.5 miles." There's tons of them, and you can get a resupply very easy and very cheap there at Dollar General. Another uniqueness on the Pinhoti Trail is what I call isolation. If you want to hike a trail where you don't see hardly anybody, then the Pinhoti is your trail. I only hiked with, on a regular basis, 3 people the whole 350 something miles on the Pinhoti Trail. and I didn't hardly see anybody on there. I passed a few people. One guy there towards the very end, he was trail running the trail. He stopped and looked at me and went, "Hey, you're Rev." And I went, "Hey, I am." But other than that, I just did not see that very many people on the trail. So it's a trail that if you like to be by yourself, that's the place to go. Now, with the Pinhoti being shorter in length than the PCT, it goes without saying that the elevation gain on the PCT was a lot more than the Pinhoti Trail. The elevation gain on the Pinhoti Trail was only about 43,000 feet. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's about right. Whereas on the Pacific Crest Trail, the elevation gain was 430,000 feet. They say that the elevation gain on the PCT is like hiking and summiting Mount Everest 11 times. So there you go. Now, even though the elevation gain on the Pinhoti Trail was not that much, I think the largest or the tallest mountain on the Pinhoti Trail was a little bit over 3,000 feet. I think it was something Gap. Anyway, but believe it or not, the Pinhoti Trail as a whole is actually steeper than the PCT. I read somewhere where it said that between 80 and 100 feet per mile was what the elevation was on the Pinhoti Trail, mountains, hills, whatever you want to call them, which is pretty steep. And then lastly, I've alluded to it several times, but the Pinhoti Trail is very similar to the Appalachian Trail. I've never hiked the Appalachian Trail, but a lot of people have told me that it's very, very similar in that the steepness of the hills and mountains and just the trail in general is a whole lot like the AT. So if you want to train to hike the AT, what they say is go out and hike the Pinhoti Trail. Now, if you've not gotten a chance to watch my playlist of my through hike at the Pinhoti Trail, then please be sure and check it out. I'll leave the link down in the description below, and also up in the top of this video. Would I recommend you to hike the Pinhoti Trail? Definitely yes. I would give it a 10 out of 10. It is again, it's a unique trail. They have unique opportunities and situations, but it is a fantastic trail. Yes, I would definitely hike the Pinhoti Trail again. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about through hiking in general, then please be sure and check out my other videos here on the screen. And until next time, I will see you down the trail.